Getting older goes hand in hand with forgetfulness, like not remembering the name of the new restaurant in town or misplacing your glasses. And while it can be frustrating, it isn't instantly concerning few. Some degree of memory loss can be considered normal, especially with age, Carmen Carrion, an assistant professor of neurology at Yale School of Medicine, told HuffPost via email. As people grow older, they may experience mild forgetfulness, such as misplacing keys or having trouble recalling names. These age-related memory changes are typically not a cause for concern, Carrion added. In other words, you don't need to panic if you notice your memory isn't as sharp as it used to be. That's just a part of aging. And it isn't exclusive to people whom society considers old either. Here's a very depressing fact. We start to lose neurons in our 30s, said Dr. Michael Rosenblum, a neurologist at the UW Medicine Memory and Brain Wellness Center in Washington. With time, we become less efficient at learning and remembering, and to me, it almost feels like this life cycle. When you're young and you're a student, you need to learn more information and those systems have to be working on all cylinders, but when you get older, it's less critical, Rosenblum said. However, certain forms of memory loss are abnormal and can be indicative of larger issues. Below, neurologists told HuffPost the signs of abnormal memory loss and what to do if you're concerned.
To learn new things. As time goes on, things like cell phones, computers, and even cars require some additional education. Think about it. Compared to 30 years ago, cars have backup cameras, GPS capabilities, and some are even all electric. If you find that you struggle to learn anything new, it could be concerning, experts say. The common thing in our society is you get a new device and you just cannot figure it out, said Dr. Charles Bernick, a neurologist at the Lou Ruvo Center for Brain Health at the Cleveland Clinic. It's normal to need some time to get used to a new phone or laptop, but if it's a totally impossible task, you may want to consider talking to your doctor. Trouble doing and understanding things that used to come easily. It could be a worrisome sign if everyday tasks that used to be easy are now challenging. For example, for people who forgetting recipes that they previously have been able to do easily for many years, Bernick said. Another big area people may notice abnormal forgetfulness, finances, according to Bernick. That could be forgetting to pay bills, paying bills twice, not understanding how finances work, or forgetting how to make proper change when paying for items in stores. If the person is really starting to struggle, or finding even day-to-day activities a bit more difficult, that should be a red flag that something's going on, Bernick said. The forgetfulness may not look exactly like this, but many other things, like personal hygiene, appointments, and errands, also fall into day-to-day activities. Missing doctor's appointments regularly and burning food due to forgetfulness could also be troubling, Rosenblum said. Quickly forgetting conversations. You can't be expected to remember every single conversation you've ever had, and you shouldn't worry if you forget conversations from time to time. What is cause for concern? Immediately forgetting discussions, according to Rosenblum. Normally, when one has a conversation, it is expected that you can at least remember having that conversation. But let's say an hour goes by, the person forgets about having the conversation. That's certainly concerning, he said. They also should remember by the day's end too, so that's also a red flag for me, Rosenblum added. Getting lost in familiar places. It's perfectly normal to get lost from time to time, like when exploring somewhere you haven't been in decades or visiting a new place. But getting lost in familiar places can sometimes be a sign of abnormal memory loss. One really telltale sign might be getting lost in your hometown, just not finding your way, said Ulrich Mayer, a professor of neuroscience at the University of Oregon. This could look like getting lost while driving to the grocery store or on your walk home from an appointment. If this happens to you or a loved one, it should cause concern, Mayer said. It is normal to repeat yourself from time to time, recounting stories or facts to people who have heard them before. But if you're doing this too often, it could be abnormal. Specifically, if you are repeating questions or stories within the same day, or sometimes within a few minutes, it could be a sign of abnormal memory loss, according to Carrion. Your loved ones point out that something seems off. If a loved one tells you they're worried about your memory, try not to get defensive. Instead, take their concerns seriously. What others notice about your memory could actually be more valuable than what you notice, Mayer said. The sort of subjective experience of one's own memory is not a very reliable indicator of what's really going on, That's much more correlated with things like your overall tendency to worry, Mayer said. In other words, a loved one is more likely to be able to accurately spot issues like story repetition or day-to-day tasks. Additionally, if you notice memory loss in a loved one, don't be afraid to speak up. Your support and concern is important. I would actually take a lot more seriously than when somebody comes to me and tells me, "Oh, my memory is not as good as it used to be," Mayer said.